Alright, YouTube, we're heading back to the bowl. Had a little interruption there, so I had to cut the previous little thing and start again. But now we're going to work on the bottom of the bowl. And when you're working with a side grind bowl gouge, when you're doing a pool cut, you kind of scrape with the bottom edge. It's not really, you don't really rub the bevel. You rub the bevel more when you do push cuts, at least I do. You just kind of got to learn how to use your tool and figure out, you know, what way works for you best. And that's a good way to remove a lot of material. If you've seen like the Ellsworth gouge, which is what I kind of base this grind off of, you can see how it can really quickly remove material. You know, pretty easily. You can see it removes a good chunk right there. So see, this is more of a bevel rubbing cut, so you don't take quite as much off cutting this way, but you get a little smoother cut. It's more of a little bit more of a finishing type cut. So you can see we're starting to get sort of flat. We still have a part of the bark area, or where the bark was, I should say. So you just need to flatten that out a little more. So back on. You can do a push cut all the way to the center, riding the bevel. About working with green wood, you get a lot of curly shavings. Now this isn't the wettest wood in the world. It's been sitting outside for maybe 2 or 3 weeks, well, before I actually got around to turning it, so it's only semi-green, but it's a lot easier to cut than, you know, dry oak as compared to this. You can see you get these long curly shavings. When you get a really wet piece of wood, they're way longer. They're almost like linguine, like pasta, and they fly all over the place, and that's a lot of fun to turn that way. The other nice thing about green wood is that it generally you can get it free or really cheap. Might have a neighbor, you know, on your street getting rid of trees, and you know, either they're cutting down or tree surface is coming to get them. You know, usually you just walk over there or drive over there and say, hey, can I have some tree or some logs there? And for the most part, people are usually more than happy to give it to you. So you get a lot of interesting woods in the thicknesses you need for bowl turning for free. You can get walnut, cherry, anything that grows here in, you know, North America or wherever it is you live. You can get for free, which is a lot of fun. Because usually to buy something like this kiln dried at a lumber yard, the price would be, you know, excessively high, and it would, you know, make bowl turning you know, less appealing to people. You wouldn't be able to just, you know, turn away shaving after shaving, or lose inch and inch of diameter. You'd be like, oh no, am I cutting too much away? on this $45 piece of wood that I just bought. You know, with something like this you get for free. Turn it and have fun. You know, and the only thing with greenwood is you have to dry it. So if it cracks, you got to be on it right away with some CA glue. But you know, it's free, so if it does crack, it's not the biggest, you know, loss in the world. So check the time here. Still got a couple minutes yet. So bottom's pretty much ready for a tenon, and there's a little bit of bark there, so we'll turn that away. We'll try and bring that out, and then I might switch to my smaller bowl gouge to make the tenon. So just kind of bring the tool rest around. So now we're going to flatten this. There's a little bit of a peak right there, so we're going to bring that down flat. So what I like to do is, if you don't have a ruler or something lying around handy, if you just lay top edge of your flute on the area you want to see that's flat, that area on your gouge or tool is flat, and you can see there's a little bit around this. You can rock the tool back and forth a little bit. Take that out. Not too bad, actually. Tool rest was in the way a little bit the first time. So we'll just flatten that out a little bit more. Once you have it flat, for a tenon or a foot, this is where the bowl is going to sit. So you want to just kind of turn it down in the middle there, make it a concave area. So that way, when your bowl is resting on this edge, it'll just be right on the edge there. So if it warps at all, after it's all dry and finished, if it warps further, it'll just be that edge that it'll sit on, rather than the middle. Because if it warps, it'll warp in the middle, and it'll make the bowl, you know, not sit flat. It won't be even, and it'll be rockety and not very nice. So that's what you do for that. Check the time here. Alright, I think that's long enough for part 3, so we'll cut that video now, and we'll see you next time.